Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Om Ganganapate Namaha Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanyatrambake Devi Narayani Namostute Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Mahalakshmi Rupena Samstita Namastasya 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 Namo Namaha Om Aim Reem Klim Chamundaye Viche Om Durge Durge Rakshini Tata Swaha Om Namo Narayanaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namah Shivaya Shri Hanuman Ji Maharaj Ki Jai. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 12th of November 2025. I want to offer my prostrations to all the great sages and to Bhagavan, residing in the Hridaya Akash, in the heart of every single being. It is very interesting as we are looking at Iccha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti. It is a fascinating journey to unravel the mysteries of the mind, the mysteries of our inner dynamics. There is so much that we can say and that we can actually be aware of regarding the movement of desire, of vasanas, of the wanting of certain qualitative experiences in our life. Until and unless we have purview of these internal experiences, realities, we cannot reach the liberated state. Liberated state, Jivan Mukti, means to be freed from ajnan, meaning ignorance, to be freed from the polarity of raga and dvesha, likes and dislikes, attraction, repulsion, and to be in a state of interaction with the world outside. That interaction state is Kriya Shakti, is what we'll talk about today. That interaction is action. Interaction doesn't happen without action. To be in a state of interactive function without raga dvesha, while experiencing the phenomena, while performing the action as Ishwar Pranidhan, not as Ahankar Pranidhan, not as this Ahankar laden activity, with the intention of realizing Paramatma, without suppressing or indulging in the demand that is created by the ego. The ego, meaning ahankar, aham vritti, it wants to get potent experiences. The I. Let's take a look at the three major forces in life, right? Kanchan, Kamini, Kirti. Kanchan meaning wanting money. The force, the drive, I want more. Sachin is not criticizing anything. I want to bring it out as it is, very carefully and slowly. That is Kanchan, Kamini, Kirti. All saints have talked about it in just different ways. Kamini doesn't mean woman. Woman or man. It means the internal demand for the experiences of different kinds of vasanas, including Kama Vasana. And then the third is Kirti. Kirti is, status, position. To be in a certain position in the material world. To be a certain politician, to be a mayor, a governor, a president, a big businessman, to hold power over others. Isko kirti. So that demand for power and the enjoyment that comes from being in that position. Oh, Mr. Governor, this, that. People are taking pictures, praising. When Kanchan and Kamini have reached certain level, they're satisfied to a large extent. Then the third one begins, kirti. और इसमें इस सब संसार जीता है और इसमें ही मर जाता है. इसको संसार कहते हैं. इससे आगे कोई बात नहीं है. Unfortunately, for most people, 99% or what, I don't know what the percentage, large percentage is in these three currents only. Just look around. इससे पर भाग्य कोई मिलेगा that they were thinking something beyond these three. Yes, maybe there's a lot of intelligence in so many areas, but at the root there is these three drives. In somewhere there, and again, it's, I'm not trying to generalize it like everybody has craziness about this. It's not like, but in general, this is how life functions. Our whole economy, world economy, is based on just these three things. Kanchan, Kamini, Kirti. The entire banking system, all the different businesses and everything is based on the Panch Vishayas, more and more stimulation, different ways, different enjoyments of different, and ऐसा ही सब चलता है. इसमें आत्मा परमात्मा का ज्ञान की बात आती नहीं है. And then a person, the body becomes old. According to spiritual science, Bhagavad Gita's teachings, other teachings, the body will be gone. Vasanas remain, Iccha remains, reincarnation. Wherever the Iccha is, that is exactly where the Jivatma will get that next body. Bhagavan Krishna says he himself puts the Jivatma in the next body because that Jivatma wants to be there. Has accumulated that kind of karma, that kind of mindset, that type of development. And this just goes on like this. It goes on into Swargalok, it goes into Mrityulok, it goes into Patal. All 14 lokas, the Jivatma keeps going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. For billions of lifetimes. And cannot be released from the pangs, the entanglements of the Brahmand. Brahmand में जो जीव, अनंत जीव फिरते हैं, they are just lost inside the Brahmand. They are trapped inside the Brahmand. भगवान और भगवान के जो संत मुक्त जब यहाँ आते हैं, when they come here into the Brahmand, they open the doorway out of the Brahmand into Brahman, Akshardham, जिसको अक्षर ब्रह्म कहते हैं. This is the whole point. Now this is the bigger metaphysical fact. Now how does this all connect to Gnan Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Iccha Shakti? It's all connected together because our Kriya, our actions that we are performing hour to hour, minute to minute, breath to breath, that is called Kriya. And that Kriya that we are performing, we meaning human beings in general, are performing through our desires, through our fears, through our wants, through our pleasures, through our demands for the body, demands for the experiences that we want. Obviously, experiences have to be there in life. Life is nothing but experience. But it remains. The bigger question that remains is regarding energetic resonance. We've talked about this before, but I think in the Angel Wing program at some point, energetic resonance versus energetic dissonance. Energetic resonance is what Shakti Upasana is all about. It is not all about that, but it is the beginning doorway into that. To resonate our internal Shakti with that Mahashakti. That is called inner resonance, where our ahankar is not grabbing hold of that energy and funneling it, concentrating it, and destroying it. Three things ahankar does in kriya. Kriya meaning action. It grabs hold of Shakti. I want this thing. Me, mine. This ahankar. It grabs hold of energy. All kinds of energy. That's why there's so many wars and all kinds of trouble in the world because of this reason. It grabs hold from others usually. Not to serve others, to grab hold from others. It happens in family life also. Ahankar se relationship, the ahankar props up. It may not prop up in the beginning of the relationship. It props up later. It's always there, but it shows its ugly face later on. And then all the massive trouble begins. That ahankar damages everything. That is the cause of human suffering. From top to bottom. Not just human suffering. It is ahankar that exists from the ant to the Brahmaji. Brahmaji may be ahankar, but not our kind of ahankar. Unka aham, not like our, हमारा जैसा aham नहीं है उनका. उनका aham क्या है कि सृष्टि करनी है, जीवों का कल्याण करना है. That kind of aham is there. That's a different kind of aham. According to scriptures and great sages, उनको भी ये छोड़ना पड़ता है to go into the Akshardham, Brahmaji. I mean, we cannot say anything about Brahmaji. We don't have qualification to say anything. But I'm just repeating what I have heard on this. And it could be we have not reached that stage to understand Brahmaji. हमारे लिए तो वो भगवान के स्वरूप है. We cannot make any statement about. But what the scriptures say, he also lives 100 years and then his body goes away. His 100 years, not our 100 years. So the aham goes from the ant to the Brahma. Kita Brahma. रेशाम तमे साचु नाणु बीजू सर्वे दुख दायक जानू रेशाम तमे साचु नाणु कीट ब्रह्मा थी जोयु. See, there's Muktanand Swami has written this beautiful poem that all of the Swaminarayan Satsangis, they sing this before going to sleep. Resham tame sachu nanu biju sarve dukkadayak. What does it mean? That, hey Prabhu, aap satya hai. All of this other activity going on in the Brahmand, it is all mixed with dukkha. Even though there is sukh, there is no sukham, in the sansar, in the 14 lokas, that doesn't have some level, some quantity of dukkha mixed inside. Yes, what we are wanting, we want continuous sukh, meaning we want ananda. Sukh can never be continuous. Kabhi bhi nahi. Impossible. Every experience is limited. Every experience has a beginning and an end and a saturation point. Our mind mistakes that experience for ananda. It is sukha, not ananda. Sukh और आनंद में जमीन आसमान का फर्क है. If we cannot understand this point, first of all, understand this point absolutely clearly. स्पष्ट होना, स्पष्टीकरण बहुत clear होना चाहिए कि सुख and आनंद are two different things. They are not the same. Sukh exists because there is Atma. Atma is Ananda. But Sukh is not Ananda. Sukh is a wave. Sukh is a temporary phenomena. It is a stimulation. That stimulation is compelling. That stimulation is real. That stimulation is a wave. It is dynamic Shakti. That stimulation is creating the experiences within the three gunas of Maya, which are the interaction between the causal body and the outside world. What are the three gunas of Maya? Sattva, Rajatama. What are they actually? They are intra-psychic phenomena that are the experience for the Jivatma because of the Karana Sharir and the outside Panch Vishayas. That is the interaction in the Sukshma Sharir. The three gunas of Maya exist within the subtle body, and that is where Gnan Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Iccha Shakti, all are combined together. If you have questions about it, please ask. Make sure these points are clear. ये हमारी बहुत प्रार्थना है आप सबको who are listening online as well as anybody else listening to this later on. To get these ideas absolutely clear. The terminology should be very clear. Look at the terminology. We have Iccha Shakti, Gnan Shakti, Kriya Shakti. We're going to go further into this, but I want to make sure that the background is clear. We have three gunas of Maya. Sattva gun, Rajas gun, Tamas gun, or Sattva Rajatama. Three gunas of Maya. These gunas are not divya gun, Bhagwan ke gun, not that. Bhagwan is beyond, God is beyond. Bhagwan gunatit hai. The word gunatit, atit means beyond. So that's another word. If you're writing notes, keeping track of all this, that's my Sachin's humble recommendation. Keep a notebook with you. Write these bullet points down. If you write it down, you'll remember it better. And before you know it, within 1 or 2 years, a lot of Sanskrit terminology will become very clear. And that is important. That wisdom, that study is necessary. Right? So please write these things down if you can. You will gain tremendous wisdom out of that. It will grow. If you write it down, writing is a whole brain activity. And then you can do your own research. Now we have all the tools to do that if you want to. But write it down. So gunatit means beyond the three gunas of Maya. Now remember, this Gnan Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Iccha Shakti, Shakti is only one. Shakti means energy. What is that Shakti? That is the Divine Mother. That is the Divine Goddess. That is the Parashakti, Paramba. That is only one. Mahamaya, Mool Prakriti, Shri Radha. उसको किसी भी नाम से पुकारो, वो एक ही तत्व है. हलादिनी शक्ति. वैष्णव संप्रदाय में इसको हलादिनी शक्ति कहते हैं. किसी भी नाम से. And the mantras that are connected, देवी के जो सब मंत्र है, they all lead to the one source only. That is Parashakti. You can start at any point. Klim Bij Mantra, Aim Bij Mantra, Rim Bij Mantra. बहुत बीज मंत्र है. Bij means you're planting a seed. It's going to grow. The tree will grow. It will grow through Prakriti into Brahman. इसीलिए बीज मंत्र की साधना बहुत पावरफुल साधना है. वो छोड़ना नहीं. आइम बीज मंत्र करना, सबको करना. If you are married, you can do some Klim Bij Mantra also. वो महाविद्या है. It's absolutely beautiful. And if you need some guidance, like Sachin can show you how to do that, no problem at all. बहुत सुंदर बात है. प्रेम से करना. And it will grow. So it's the growth from inside where our Jnana Shakti grows from Aim Bij Mantra. Now, what if you don't want to use Bij Mantras? कोई बात नहीं. If you don't want to use Bij Mantras, तो संत के क्वालिटी अंतर में लाइए. साधुता. If you bring sadhuta, you don't need any other mantras. That is the whole goal actually. Goal is saintliness. Sant ke gun. Read them, internalize them, use all other regular mantras, fine, good enough. This is how sadhanas are done. Many ways of doing sadhana. But the point is we want to bring Gnan Shakti, Iccha Shakti, Kriya Shakti into a complete synchronous state. So let's go slowly now, carefully, without diverting into too many other things. Kriya means action. What kind of action? Remember, there's three kinds of action. The physical body has activity. This is called physical action. So the physical body's action. This is one type. Second is verbal action, talking, like Sachin is speaking right now. It's actually speaking the words externally and speaking the words internally. That is called verbal action. And the third type of action is just mental activity, total, antakaran ki activity. That is the third type of kriya. So kriya shakti has these three classifications and they are all connected together. They don't happen independently. We cannot move the body without the mind being active also. If the mind is active, the body is still functioning. So they are all together. So mental, physical and verbal. Three dimensions of Kriya Shakti. Okay. Now, in that Kriya Shakti, Kriya meaning activity, it cannot happen without Iccha Shakti. Iccha meaning I want, the I, the me that wants. Yes, up to a certain functional, transactional level, ahankar is not a problem. That is called Vyavarika Satyam in Vedanta. Vyavarika meaning it is the in transactional realm of reality. But once ahankar goes beyond that, it starts going after it starts going after Kanchan Kamini Kirti. Kamini again doesn't mean woman, don't misunderstand. It means this extraordinary demand for pleasure, of all different kinds of pleasures. And Kanchan is money, because that is the medium through which goods and products and services are exchanged. And the more one has of that there's more opportunity to experience the material world. That's one truth. But there's another truth. The accumulation of wealth of all kinds, particularly money, accumulation of it creates an enjoyment. मेरे पास इतना है, मेरे पास इतना है. If you have 10,000 in the bank account, dollars, and it becomes 20,000, how does that feel? 20,000. When will it become 50? Wow. When will it become 100? Wow. It's just that wow just grows. That's it. That's all that happens. If you don't use it, it's not even yours. It's go to children, somebody else it'll go. हमारे पास कितना पैसा है, how much we use. We only have that much, whether it is food, clothing, water, shelter, money, anything, knowledge. Even Sachin here talking about all of these ideas and everything. How much is it used? You can have a lot of information. Lot of information is there. How much is actually internalized? What is its application? Just having a huge encyclopedia at home or 1,000 books at home and they're unopened, or only 5 are opened, what is the point? It's meaningless in that sense. It's totally unopened. If I have 1,000 books at home and I don't even read them, they're just paper sitting around. Iska kya meaning kya hai? But yeah, my ahankar will say, I have 1,000 books at home. Some of you have come to my place. You've seen some of these books, right? ये अहंकार है. इसको ज्ञान नहीं कहते. And Sachin can say, look, I have closets full of books. You've seen, actually, I have closets full of books here. And to show off to people that, look, आइए, कितने पुस्तक है? I want somebody to ask me, Sachin, how many of these have you read? You see the difference here. You see how our ahankar comes into this accumulated, with everything. It happens with everything. मेरे पास इतना है. And we get satisfaction, some kind of a kick out of that, some kind of a high out of that thing. If you have accumulated, do something with it for God's sake. Even at the very material level, somebody has 50 pairs of different shirts and all that. Wear them. Some people don't even wear them. They just wear the same 5 or 6 things. They just want to look at it only. भगवान का दर्शन करना है ऐसा? मूर्ति का दर्शन? ये क्या करते हैं हम? What we're doing? If accumulated material, books, money, knowledge, wisdom, anything, food is another one. Some people have food that is rotting inside. ये क्या करते हैं हम? This hoarding mentality, ये सब अहंकार का problem hai. These are the diseases created by ahankar. Ahankar is the biggest disease that sprouts into millions of other diseases. इसीलिए भगवान कृष्ण परमात्मा कहते हैं निर्माण मोहा जित संग दोषा. संग दोष छोड़ देना. It is the internal richness. A life of seva. कितनी सुंदर बात है. If whatever we have, there is no greater ananda in life than to use everything we have for seva. Everything we have, every knowledge we have, every kriya we have, every iota, every ounce of energy we have, completely place it in seva modality. आप संत बन सकते हैं. इसी को ही तो साधु कहते हैं. साधु की स्थिति क्या है? अहंकार से बाहर निकल गए वो. They have outside of the dimension of ahankar. 24 hours their activity is in seva of all. Yeah, some functional ahankar may remain. That's going to remain. That's not an issue. That's not a problem at all. And this is how the Kriya Shakti, Kriya meaning activity, is not in ahankar anymore, that activity is linked into ananda. It is not simply running after and trying to expand the experience of the ahankar. Yes, take the bank account example, right? You can develop it further. But as it grows, is seva growing? For humanity, for family, for friends, for this, for others? Or only simply ahankar is growing? If that ahankar is growing, it will grow up to some point, body will become old, and wherever that money goes, that is where the person will be born, probably as a dog or a cat or something like that, at the person's home, or as a child, or chasing that, and that can be chased for thousands of lifetimes. कभी भी इसको चेस नहीं करना, because हमारा है नहीं है वो. It's not ours. Nothing is ours except bhakti, and bhakti is also not ours. It is granted by Shri Radha ji. It is a gift. इसका भी अहंकार आ सकता है कि मैं भक्त हूं, पूरा हो गया, finish. It's a very deadly thing, right? So not to chase the ahankar. And that is a very difficult thing, because the whole world around us is living only in this ahankar. Large numbers of people. This is how people live. And they live this way. They interact with each other this way. The economy is built this way. The political system is built this way. The social structures are built. Everything is built based on ahankar. From the ant to the Brahmaji. अभी इसमें से escape कर, you have to get out of this. How that is possible? That is the whole point of the Gita. That is the whole point of the Brahma Sutras. That is the entire path towards mukti. And until and unless it is realized, we will not be able to evolve. That evolution out of this entanglement of Kanchan, Kamini, Kirti. It cannot happen. It will drown, and it's very tricky. It's very, big individuals who progressed far in spirituality or other areas, they get a lot of praise. Maybe a lot of money comes, a lot of this, other things come. Buddhi fir jati hai. Ahankar pops up somewhere. Something pops up. And then one gets lost inside the sansar thinking that is all. इसमें से वैराग्य कैसे होगा? वैराग्य तो होगा भी नहीं. What will happen? Millions of reincarnation cycles. Who knows where that reincarnation goes? These three, Kanchan, Kamini, Kirti, are the causes of reincarnation. Yeah, it happens, right? Somebody they want a particular position in the material world. The desire is there, so they try. At some point, that will happen, because you want it, you are trying, you're putting effort. Bhagwan aapko phal dege, wo position mil jayegi, with whatever you have to do to get there. 1 lifetime, 5 lifetimes, 100 lifetimes, who knows? And that time is limited time. Look at what these politicians, they are in the particular position for so many years, 4 years, 8 years, 12 years, whatever it is, right? ऐसे ही मर जाते. कोई ज्ञान नहीं, कोई आध्यात्मिक समझन नहीं, ऐसे ही मर जाते. If you are in that position as a seva, that is also possible. If we want to be in the position to seva karni hai. Okay. That is a better evolution. पर उसका भी अहंकार आ सकता है कि I want to be in that good position so I can do seva. Another way of ahankar coming into the picture. Ahankar comes throughout. और satisfaction तो वासना का है नहीं. Temporary satisfaction. Look at, as an example, I don't want to go too much into that, but the pornography that is available. I was watching some documentaries just yesterday evening on this. And it is incredible what is the availability of pornography for everybody in the world, and what it is doing to human relationships, to hamari jo Shakti hai. it is for these teenagers, their brain, their development is being damaged. And nobody knows how to stop that. Nobody knows what to do with it even. कितनी डिफिकल्ट बात है. ये सब शक्ति का प्रॉब्लम हो गया है inside the minds of so many people. It's very, very dangerous, right? So all kinds of things like this, running after these pleasures, what will it do? It damages Shakti. So Jnana Shakti now comes into the picture. Jnana Shakti is where there is the opening of a much broader understanding of the phenomena outside and the reality inside. That opening of this broader vision is where Shakti, energy, it is functioning beyond certain limited boundaries, and the vision, the internal realization, the internal seeing of the fullness of reality opens. That is called Mahasaraswati. That is why we do the Aim Bij mantra, to open this broad vision. Because once the broad picture opens up, इसमें जो ज्ञान है, ज्ञान means not just information. It is a wisdom-laden, wisdom-oriented vision. It opens from inside. And in that opening is made by Shakti. That opening is a form of Shakti, and that opening brings a broader vision, which is a broader vision of Shakti only. Everything is Shakti. Everything is Shakti. Nothing is outside of Shakti. भगवान भी एक शक्ति है. Not एक शक्ति, भगवान परम शक्ति है. बहुत ध्यान रखना. So when we are trying to evolve ourselves, we want to set that destination out of all negativity and out of the ego of the positivity. Both have to be thrown away. You know what that is like? We want to remove the negative by the positive. And then both have to be relinquished to reach the divine. The beautiful example that is given by so many saints. If you have a thorn that has gone inside your foot, take another thorn to remove the thorn that is inside the foot. And then take both of them and throw them away. Shubha Shubha Parityagi Bhaktiman Me Priyo Naraha. शुभ और अशुभ का परित्याग, इसको दिव्यता कहते हैं. कितनी सुंदर बात है. Yes, we want the negativity to go. Everybody says, we drop negativity. All right. What about the positivity? You have to drop that too. That is also, that positivity has to be dropped also. That's very confusing. What do you mean positivity has to be dropped? It simply means that the positivity and negativity are on a pendulum. They're on a continuum. They're not different from each other. They're both part of the ego. They seem to be different from each other. They're not really. They are functions of the ego. They come out of the ego. So when we drop both of them, what do we have? We have undisturbed divine vision. Divya drishti. Divya bhav is called divinity. Now what is that actually? That is where our Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Iccha Shakti combine together in such a beautiful way, and we are liberated from the entanglements of the तमोगुण, रजोगुण एंड सत्वगुण. सत्वगुण को भी हम छोड़ देते हैं. Then what is left? What is left is bhakti. That bhakti is divya. वो दिव्य है bhakti. That is not the 10th bhakti. Prema Bhakti is not part of Sattva Gun. It is beyond. वो गुणातीत भक्ति है. The 9 forms of devotion are part of Sattva Gun. To bring Sattva Gun. Yes, it's a thorn that removes all the other thorns. Positivity and lots of good feelings and all that thing. A lot of positive qualities open up. But beyond all those positive qualities is the divinity itself. Is the divyata, is the gunatit sthiti. Or we cannot imagine that. That is only possible to break into that or go into that when Bhagwan takes the bhakta into that. वो सत्व गुण से बाहर की स्थिति है. There's no sadhana to go there. There's no effort that can take one there. There is no kind of dhyan, meditation, a scriptural study, nothing we can do through the me that can take us out of sattva gun. Impossible. वो भगवान स्वयं कृपा दृष्टि से भक्त को ले जाते हैं सत्व गुण से बाहर. And that is where that doorway out of sattva gun, where Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Iccha Shakti, they combine together into just one extraordinary force. And that extraordinary force combined together is that breaking out of the Navda Bhakti into the 10th Bhakti. It is like the space shuttle that, everything, you got those, to take the space shuttle, 2 booster rockets, and you got the fuel tank, and everything is lit up. And then a point comes, there's liftoff. Breaking the gravity. Liftoff means now the force of gravity is not binding that space shuttle anymore. That liftoff point is, as an analogy, getting out of the sattva gun. Kitni shakti chahiye iske liye. That's why there are booster rockets and fuel, and this is so much energy is there to. But once the liftoff happens, once that certain amount of energy is, once they go into orbit, they don't need that much energy at that point. They can maneuver the shuttle, do other things. They're not in the boundary of that gravitational pull. They're orbiting the Earth, and they're using that gravitational pull to orbit the Earth, not to sink into the Earth in an uncontrolled way, because they have mastered the art of orbiting the Earth rather than being simply trapped on the Earth. Isn't it so with the space shuttle? That's a beautiful analogy to understand this sattva gun से बाहर, सत्व रजतम, इससे बाहर निकलने की बात है. इसके लिए शक्ति बिना होता नहीं, और भगवान की शक्ति है. भगवान को जब समर्पित करते, he brings it all together, and through akhanda bhakti, by krupa, he opens the doorway into that orbit that is outside the brahmand में से brahman. This is the journey of life. Once we understand these points, Anand hi hai. Understand and apply and prarthana. It's not simply understanding and application is there. We do put efforts. But we ask Bhagwan for कृपा. हे प्रभु, मैं जो क्रिया कर रहा हूं, ये आपके लिए है, आपकी शक्ति है, आपका ही सब है. It's called bringing all actions into divinity. Everything. Even if there's Kam, Krodh, Lobh, even if you want the material things, mix it inside the Swarup of Paramatma. Hey Prabhu, I want these things. I'm asking you for Sakam Bhakti. Karo, koi baat nahi. Start with that. Most people have to do Sakam Bhakti. What's the problem? Karo Sakam Bhakti. Bhagwan ke paas मांगना है, तो भगवान के पास मांगना. बहुत काम वासना है, तो no problem. शिव जी और देवी है, उनकी पूजा करना. They'll take care of it. बहुत पैसा चाहिए, लक्ष्मी जी की उपासना करना. She will take that Iccha and turn it into Mahalakshmi, turn it into that Iccha into Seva. She will do that by connecting with her. If we stay connected with Paramatma, Bhagwan will transmute this entire ego-laden activity by Krupa if we are in थोड़ी humility होनी चाहिए. When we go to the Supreme Paramatma with any bhav, in any form, in any way, the transmutation will occur. वो दिव्य भक्त को दिव्य बना देगा. Guaranteed. Well, that is 100% guarantee. That's like when we offer anything inside the havan, it becomes fire. कुछ भी offer करो इसमें, वो अग्नि ही बन जाता है. In the same way, when we are offering every action, even if it is ego-laden action, and to reckon, hey Prabhu, this is my ahankar, I want this thing, but we're offering it to you, that will transmute into divinity. It's amazing. Very difficult to describe that. There's a lot of examples of that, a lot of stories of that, but that's what happens. The more we connect with Bhagavan and we see what we have in our life in the light of Paramatma, कि ये सब भगवान की ही शक्ति है, मेरा कुछ नहीं है, सब तेरा है, then this जीवन एक सेवा है. मेरा नहीं है कुछ, तेरा है, जीवन एक सेवा है. Little poem there. Ahankar lives in me, I, me. It lives in that dimension. Live in the dimension, सब तेरा. सब आपकी लीला है, आपकी क्रिया है, आपकी दिव्यता है, आपका ही सब स्वरूप है संसार में. आपकी लीला है ये संसार. ऐसी भी एक दृष्टि है. चिद शक्ति विलास. Muktanand Baba, not from Swaminarayan Sampradaya, this is from Ganesh Puri. The Play of Consciousness, very famous book in the spiritual domain. Chid Shakti Vilas, that is called The Play of Consciousness. It's available online. Read this book, it's excellent. I think you can listen to audio also. It becomes a leela. ये शिव शक्ति की लीला है पूरा ब्रह्मांड. And when we are able to see the activity in the Brahmand, all 14 lokas, as the Leela of Shiv and Shakti, we are liberated. If we cannot see that because of Agnan, the human beings are living in ego dimension, that's a contracted dimension, then that's a very, very damaging dimension. A lot of pain, suffering, trouble is there. इसीलिए नमः शिवाय mantra, Devi ki bhakti, Navratri, we did all this havan and everything. Why we do this? So that our ahankar and इसको जो राक्षसी वृत्ति कहते हैं, इससे बाहर निकाल देना. And when you do that, it doesn't mean we don't enjoy. In fact, on the contrary, the enjoyments of the world are maximum with minimal or no damage. And those enjoyments are from limited amount of the objects. It's very interesting. The enjoyment is maximum. Like for example, if you have a cup of coffee, but the inner space is in higher ideals and higher vritti, the cup of coffee will remain. And maybe 20, 25, 30 minutes will be used to drink the cup of coffee. Limited amount. But if the mind is more disturbed, agitated, worried, this, that, person might drink 3 cups of coffee within an hour versus drinking only half a cup. The limited quantity that gives the maximum satisfaction because there is already intra-psychic, energetic harmony within Gnan Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Iccha Shakti without psychological fragmentation. That is why, I know it's a long sentence, it's recorded, you can listen to it and analyze that one. That is why a cup of coffee can last 1 hour rather than trying to get to that saturation point and destroying Iccha Shakti. Iccha Shakti ko destroy nahi karna. If we destroy Iccha Shakti, how can we do bhakti? How can we live life in a normal way? How can we enjoy life? We cannot enjoy life if we destroy Iccha Shakti. The example that is given, we go to a restaurant And Sachin loves this restaurant, so I start going to this restaurant. And then I go there again the next day. If I go there 4 days in a row, by the time the 4th day comes, you say, I don't want to eat this dish anymore. I have destroyed Iccha Shakti. Don't oversaturate any experience. If you like something, keep distance from it and then go back to it again, because your desire for that remains. While the desire is active, that active desire then can be utilized for bhakti, and for that same energy is used for other things. And you can still go back to the restaurant 2 weeks later and say, I enjoyed it so much 2 weeks ago. But if you go too much into that, you will not enjoy it, create a dislike wave, and say it's a dislike for something that we originally liked very much. This is why people cannot find real joy in the material world, because of overstimulation. That is happening by mistaking the pleasure for ananda. Is par manan kijiye. These recordings, please, by humble, not because of Sachin. Sachin has nothing to do with this. These are truths that are coming from thousands of places, extracted in a way, presented to all of you. Aap is par manan kijiye. What is your vision of this? Share your thoughts. And I put a lot of corollary, I'm working on it now, to put all the corollary videos and audios that explain these things, even in more straightforward manner in different languages. And you may have seen some of that inside the WhatsApp. We'll see, because the goal here as a seva, Sachin can do this seva, aap bhi seva kar sakte hai, is share karo, discuss karo with others who are interested in this. In conversations, share these videos, share those audios. The more we share, the more we will grow. Again, in Vivek se, don't throw on somebody's head these things. Bahut interesting baat hai. There's probably nothing more interesting than this in life. Is how we can remain free, and what is the nature of all of this energies and kriya and everything else that is going on inside of us, how it intersects together, right? So it's already 9:08. I went a little bit over time, but let's stop here for now, and then we will continue on this tomorrow. We'll open it up for Q&A or just conversation in just a moment. Let's do the closing mantra. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarischa Sarvadam Ganganapate Namaha. Om Trambakam Yajame Sugandim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshimamritata. Om Aim Brim Glim Chamundaya Vicha. Om Shri Radha Krishnaya Namo Namaha. Om Hrim Swaha.